All right, guys, welcome to Four Guys, One Film. Today we're going to watch and review Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Shut the fuck up, Isaac. This is my intro.
This is my house.
My intro.
Ooh. Is this the first one?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Well, on the
somehow.
pod.
I feel like we haven't done one.
We didn't get to do a chance.
I mean,
there
it's
was
weird
no
that we haven't
Ant-Man
done one.
Quantumania, which
Yeah,
is a good thing for Ant-Man Quantumania that we didn't review it.
That movie fucking sucked. Jesus Christ. You like it? Why are you looking at me like that?
He's in the middle of his review and we just
I'm
fucking
in the middle of
hijacked
my-
it completely.
my-
Well, you know
my
what? I thought
intro.
you already started.
All right,
No, I'm not even done.
let's run it back. Let's run it back.
All right.
I kind of like the way we're going, though, so we're going to keep it.
All right, let's keep it rolling. It's been a long time since we've all been together reviewing something. I mean, we were going to get together last week.
No, we tried last week and then it just
Yeah.
fucking...
We were too busy
down.
with all the viewers' moms, for Mother's Day.
Yeah, Mother's Day.
Tell your mom I said hi.
Until you saw
Wait,
them.
you talking to me or like the listeners?
The listeners.
So to our 100 fans out there, hi to all your moms.
Yeah. And your mom says hi back.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. This is the last of the Guardians series. Yeah, there's just so much to unpack in the film because, first of all, I think it's an emotional film.
Mhm.
Like a lot more emotional than I expected from a Marvel movie and from I'd expect it from a Guardians movie because I feel like the Guardians franchise within the MCU franchise is the best one.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
bunch of misfits and outcasts, and then they're just dealing with their issues
Yeah.
and kind of making it work regardless.
Yeah, like they all have personal issues.
It's
and I
very
feel-
relatable.
Very relatable. And this one definitely highlights Rocket's issues the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say I did not really care for Rocket as a character before this movie. Like,
Me neither.
I was kind of like, he's just.
Yeah,
more
he was funny in the
comedic
first
relief.
one. He was a little cunt in the second one.
Well,
And then
he
third
was
one.
an extra
Big
kind
word.
in fucking Infinity.
Infinity War?
Yeah.
No, I think Infinity War, the worst one was Peter Quill. Star-Lord fucking ruined it.
Star-Lord was just being a fucking
Just
little
had to
princess
slap
out
fucking
over there.
Thanos. All because your girlfriend died. Ooh.
Nick's like, I wouldn't have done shit.
Yeah. I would have celebrated.
My,
I feel like this
Cheers,
movie
boys.
I feel like this movie is the first one that's kind of dealt with the repercussions of what happened in Endgame.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Well, I think the shows did a lot of that stuff too.
Yeah, a lot
So
of the
I
Marvel
didn't-
series did that.
Did they?
They
Yeah.
were playing cleanup on like the blip. Well, actually, if you think about it, No Way Home even talked about the blip and what
little
happened.
bit.
They that was their whole
but
first segment.
Ant-Man tried to, kind of.
Well, look, just,
Yeah.
they
But
did.
it was
They
like-
basically did a whole show on the blip, which is
No, they
fucking
didn't.
fucking Captain America's show. That was
The Winter
basic-
Soldier.
Oh,
It
the
was,
Winter
it was
Soldier.
basically like the aftermath of what
Falcon and
happened.
the
Watched it?
It was
Falcon and the Winter
shit.
Soldier was good.
I liked it.
I liked it. Yeah.
It was good.
I didn't like it. I didn't like the guy they chose for Captain America. He looks
You
fugly.
mean Falcon
Oh no, the new Captain
or
America.
U.S. Agent?
Yeah.
U.S. Agent.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's Kurt. Is that Kurt Russell's son?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, the jeans didn't
He
really
did not
transfer well.
transfer over. So that was one. I think they talked a lot about it in the Loki movie too, in the show. I mean,
With timelines and alternate.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is the only one where they actually personally deal with it.
Yeah, this is the first one where you see
Yeah.
well, I mean, I guess
Like-
Ant-Man did a little bit because he still talked about how he's like, well, they really glossed over it honestly,
Yeah,
about
they
how
glossed
he
over
just lost years with his daughter
Yeah.
yeah.
and like,
Yeah,
that
but
should've
for
been
him it
more
was like
impactful.
being in the quantum realm or whatever. It was like
Yeah.
seconds.
See, but that's dumb.
Yeah,
That's
just-
dumb. But
yeah.
this one, Gamora's dead, and then now we have this current Gamora who's
And
from
she's
the
got
past
dreads.
timeline who has no memory of her relationship with Peter Quill.
So I think it's great that they went about it this way because like one, it shows that like, oh shit, did it actually impact people, and then two, I like that they didn't end up together because it's like if
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean if they would have made them come back together, it's like it's just kind of like that's what we would want to happen.
what you
ideally, but
expect.
this is more realistic. This is like
Yeah.
probably what would happen.
Like
It's
things
like
don't last forever.
yeah.
This
I
was
think, I
like-
think that's a good theme of the movie. That
Yeah.
things don't last forever. But go ahead, Nick.
I was gonna say this is before you go to therapy, or sorry, after therapy you realize these types of things. Before therapy, you're like the love will always work, which is ideal. But after therapy, you realize, oh, you know what? Maybe I should just work on myself before I work on this.
But
Damn, that's sad, dude.
but
Jesus.
I'm gonna go cry later.
The life did, George. Okay, but no, I wish this movie would have been like just one. Like, I kind of wanted it to be like either really funny or really depressing. And the fact that it had like both in there was kind of nice, but at the same time, like it's like we just saw a really depressing scene and they're trying to crack a joke, and I'm like,
Dude,
I
this
feel like there
movie
was less of that.
This movie
Some
was
jokes
dark.
didn't.
Yeah.
It was very dark, but
And I
some
liked
jokes
it.
were
No,
overplayed.
and
like
it was nice.
Yeah. Like
Actually-
Drax on the couch was a stupid joke.
Let me throw an idea. Do you guys want to like review it now and then like give our ratings and then get into like?
I think let's just start off with ratings.
Let's do it. Let's try something different.
let's
yeah.
try something. Let's inverse it.
Yeah, yeah.
Ooh.
Isaac first.
I give it an 8.
That's really high for you, bud.
That is
Yeah.
high. You've given 8.5s, but
Nah,
I
But yeah,
I think you did Pulp Fiction with
You-
8.5.
Pulp Fiction
but
was
8.5 was
fine.
yeah.
but that's Pulp Fiction. It's
That's-
like
yeah.
so.
Yeah.
this
It's a
is-
timeless movie. You can watch it almost any time. Like even
there's
at
only one F-bomb in this one. Pulp Fiction had a lot more. I get it. Maths.
yeah,
that's pretty good.
yeah. What about you, Alexis?
I think I give it like a 9.0
What?
because, and it may be just because like Marvel has been disappointing me a lot lately.
Okay. I can
And this
see
is the
that.
best thing they've done since Endgame. Actually, I think No Way Home was just as good, and Black Panther, but I don't know. Like this one was a lot more cohesive and more emotional to me.
I didn't like Black Panther at all. Give it a 7.
Wow, just because there's brown people, Isaac?
No, I'm brown as hell, dude.
Just because they,
Dude, like I'm there with him, dude.
Cut that. Cut
I'm
that.
like, they finally included us in a movie.
And Isaac's like, fuck
and
that.
Isaac's
All
like,
right,
fuck them.
Nah,
Mexican representation.
I just did. I
La
just didn't,
raza. No.
I didn't like who like the main actors were. To be honest,
I like the
I like T'Challa's
fucking
brother.
guy. What's his name?
T'Challa's sister. I didn't like her.
Oh no, yeah, I didn't like her as the lead.
And
But,
she was the lead, and the other chick that they wrote from like MIT, that chick was also trash.
oh, she was terrible.
Ironheart?
She was terrible.
All right, George.
Damn. Yeah, it's up there. I think I'm gonna have to agree with Alexis on this one. I was thinking the same thing. 9.
9-0.
It's solid. I really liked it. I thought it was a lot darker than most Marvel films. It didn't feel like it was cookie cutter and like usually what Marvel's been doing lately is just so absurd and trash. This felt real, like a actual story came together. James Gunn did amazing. I'm glad they gave him so much liberties with
Yeah.
this.
He was sole writer.
Yeah. So it all worked, and now I'm like, fuck. They really turned it around for me for Rocket. I was like, I didn't care at all about him prior to this. Now I'm just kind of like, holy shit.
Now I want my own raccoon.
He's deeply flawed, yeah, and fucked up individual, but it makes sense because of his backstory and what he has to put out in this exterior because he doesn't want to be hurt or
Yeah.
like what he went through.
The one thing I thought about Rocky, I thought he was like the most relatable one out of the whole cast.
In this movie or in general?
I think now after watching this movie, I think him like he like Star-Lord is like just
Dude.
kind of like a stupid ass fucking back.
Yeah. Even going back like from the previous movies, it makes so much more sense now. Like looking back at it, like why he was the way he is. Like there's that
Very
scene with
defensive,
what's his name? The blue guy.
Gamora?
No,
Just
Blue
kidding.
guy?
Fuck it.
the
Nebula.
No, the guy. The
I
one
don't
with
see
the-
gender.
Yondu?
Yandu. There's a certain scene where he's arguing with Rocket. and
Oh, in
then-
Volume 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then he's like literally telling him like, I know who you are, and he's like, you don't fucking know shit about me. And then like he breaks it down. He's like, I know who you are because you're me. Like
Yeah.
we're the same. Like we were
Yeah.
abandoned, we were mistreated, we were like outcasted and shunned. And then like it hits heavier now because you're like, holy shit. Like
Now you
that
see his
makes
actual
sense.
backstory.
Dude, I
Yeah.
definitely loved the first song that they started off with.
Creep?
Creed. I was
Like
like, well,
Radiohead?
where he was
yeah,
like,
I was
where,
not expecting.
dude,
that.
it was great. Like probably like the best like movie intro in a long time. Like because it like you hear that song and like it's. I think
really-
I think to anybody, that song is very relatable to I think all of us.
Yeah,
in this
yeah, when
room.
I was 14.
Yeah. Like,
Well, I think what's crazy is you think about like,
I still
oh,
love it
at
now.
first
I
you
still
start
love it.
thinking
I
like,
still love it.
you start thinking like that's solely about Peter Quill. Like that song felt like it was about his alcoholism right now and what he was dealing with Gamora and stuff like that. And you realize like shit, he's not the only one like going through all that stuff. Like and feeling like that disheveledness. And if anything, maybe it's transferred to him and he's like the worst at it right now. But you can just start looking back and see like all those like the Guardians humanize every character super well. Like for example, you go back to the Avengers and like Captain America, like, hey, fuck that guy. I'm sorry. Captain America is dope, but like, why is he so perfect? No human being should have zero like flaws.
Well, he's supposed to be like the perfect leader, right?
I get the leader
I mean,
part, but like,
Chris Evans is perfect.
yeah.
but even Chris Evans, absolutely, that's daddy. But we're not talking about him.
That's
But-
Zaddy.
That's Zaddy. Sorry, my bad. I didn't put enough Z on it. I gotta put some respect. But what I'm saying though in general is like you see some character like Captain America where it's like even when he made bad choices, bad calls, or like Civil War where people were like, dude, you're going against like regulation, which is something that someone with power should
Yeah.
think about it.
But he's like, but I'm still doing the right thing.
he's like, I'm doing the right thing, and he's like, but there, even when he's morally doing something that's questionable, he has such a like moral high ground and authority that it's almost pretentious, like in my opinion, and I can't relate. I'm like, no, I'm
you
not.
suck,
So,
man.
like,
I love
I'm a
Captain
flaw.
America.
Like he's a great character and he played it well, but it's just like it's an unrelatable character. I am morally flawed as a human being. I will never look at Captain America and say that's me. I might want to be him. I might want to be these guys, but like that's why we fall in love with characters like Peter Parker, where you're like, shit, he fucks up, you know.
Yeah.
And you look at every single one of the Guardians cast, I guess with the exception of maybe Groot, because Groot, I mean, it's hard, you know. Up till now, he's never talked, but now we're part of the
Yeah.
family, so now we understand what he's
Now
saying.
we get it.
Right, but even when he was having attitudes as a teenager, it's like at least I was like, "Hey, that was me."
Yeah.
I wasn't saying I am
Well, yeah,
Groot.
Groot is like the kid, you know, like
Yeah.
you just see him grow up.
But like every single one of them, from like Drax not understanding sarcasm and being too jokey from time to time, and not getting metaphors and stuff, like to, you know, having someone like Peter Quill who was just always making jokes, always cracking jokes, relying on his humor but not knowing how to actually like be serious at times, to someone like Nebula who's just mad and angry
angry.
and can't deal with her own fucking issues, like in terms of like aggression or any other way besides aggression. And then seeing something like Rocket, who's just got so much pent up like trauma that he hasn't been able to process. And it's like, I feel like every single one of those characters are humanized in a way that other characters and other groups in the MCU have been.
Yeah.
Like everybody else is always so perfect. And so like,
So because these characters are so relatable, right, in a general sense to you, like you prefer the Guardians over like an Avengers type.
as far as like relatability, absolutely. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, who doesn't like to see, you know, the Avengers kick ass? I mean,
Yeah.
like the action in Endgame and Infinity War and all the other movies, it's phenomenal. I'm not saying it's not, but like that's why. I mean, we haven't gotten to my rating, but I'll give it right now. I'm at 9.2. In my opinion, this is the best movie that's come out at this phase. It beats No Way Home for me.
You were 10 in my eyes.
Yeah.
Stop it, bro. We're gonna have to
All
cut
of
this
our
right
eyes.
now and
All of our
just we're gonna have to use the bed
We're gonna have
behind
to take
us.
a quick break.
Damn, so we all
Just
decided
35
on-
seconds.
I mean, us three decided on 9s.
Yeah.
God damn
Isaac
it,
an
bud.
8.
Hey,
I
bro.
was gonna ruin shit.
What were we expecting?
I think I'm just more critical about it.
You
'cause
just bring us down to earth.
no, because it's just like you guys look at it like, oh, okay, I'm gonna give it a 9 because I'm gonna look at the franchise.
I said 9.2. Put some respect on it.
'Cause that's what I said. You guys, okay,
A little bit higher than a 9 for me.
okay,
Oh, you said 9.2.
okay.
Oh.
Well,
9.2. I'm sorry. Let me be clear. 9.2.
I'm gonna round you down to 9. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh,
What the fuck?
always getting rounded down.
Okay, but like you guys look at at a whole franchise. When I rate a movie, I look at it singularity of like, okay, let me take what happened in the other two movies. I'm gonna take that into consideration, but it doesn't go into what's going on right now.
You're just isolating it too.
But I feel like the other events in the like, I mean, yeah, this is an unfair advantage that other movies don't get necessarily. Like when we were reviewing like Pulp Fiction or Renfield, where we don't have world building
Yeah.
that's as detailed as MCU, but you can't fully ignore it. I agree with you. Like I'm not trying to rate the Guardians trilogy. I am trying to rate the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. But like when you look back, like I mean, exactly what George said. I thought Rocket was an asshole on the second one. I was like, dude, just grow the fuck up. Like, come on, like seriously, like mature a little bit, because he wasn't like that at all in the first one.
Yeah.
I was like, what's going on? Like, why are you all of a sudden upset that Peter Quill's giving attention to other people? Like, he felt like so like controlling over his friendships and relationships with certain Guardians characters.
Yeah. Oh yeah, especially in Volume 2, right?
Yeah, and Volume 2, it felt like he was consistently going to be abandoned, and now it's like, why? How could you not feel abandoned after what you just went through?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
I was
has
like,
abandoned
shit.
his
I was
Wow.
like,
I didn't even think about that, honestly.
so, and that's where it's like, I gotta give James Gunn the credit for Volume 3. Like once he perfectly patched those little holes that we didn't even know were there.
yeah.
Yeah. And then the fact that, I mean, his whole character, he's like, he's like a little hoarder. Like, he just steals parts and does all that. And it makes sense because it's part of the reason that what saved him. Like, because he
Yeah.
does those things.
And he
He's
tried
like-
to save his buddies too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. I think even I don't know why some of the stuff that he does. I feel like 'cause I feel like he lost a lot of compassion for for a lot of stuff. Because you see him like in the first two movies, like, oh, I'm just gonna steal stuff. I'm gonna, and then you see why he does it in the third movie, and like you think he would stop because that kind of what got his friends killed. Like if he would have waited or had come up with like a better plan, his friends wouldn't have died.
I think
But-
he's just so focused on saying like I'll never allow myself to have
Vulnerability?
relationships like that and
Yeah.
vulnerability like that again. It's like if I am an asshole, like that's exactly what you're saying with Yondu. Well, Yondu's like, I'm exactly like you. Like I mean, it shows in Volume 2 where Yondu was not allowing Peter Quill to open. I think it was actually was it the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special or something like that, where Peter Quill was trying to. It shows Peter Quill giving Yondu a Christmas present.
Yeah. It was
And
the
Yondu kept
holiday
throwing it
special.
away, and then Yondu finally gives it back, and he's like, "No, if I'm an asshole, I don't have to worry about anybody around me dying
Yeah.
because I don't care about anybody else, and they don't care about me."
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly what Rocket wanted too. He's like, "I've already had enough people in my life that I've lost.
Yeah.
I don't need to add more to that list."
So so we got high ratings over here, and I think this is still a high rating for Isaac.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'd watch this movie any day of the week.
Yeah.
It was a good movie. For me, it had fundamental flaws.
Fundamental.
Let's get into some of those fundamental flaws.
Yeah, what did you think they could have done better?
I think what they could have got better is honestly like coming together, and I think making the whole movie either really happy or really depressing. Because I think the depressing stuff, in the way that they were portraying Rocket and what was going on in his like, what happened to him in his past and what happened to like his like, honestly his very first friends, the people that he grew up with and how they were viciously killed. I think if they would have kept that like, I guess momentum and actually like let the viewer digest. Okay, did this really just happen? Did we just watch his three buddies that were?
I feel like we had a lot of time. I mean, Rocket was literally screaming like in agony after his friends died for like the longest time. Where I even had a chance to like look at Crystal and be like holy shit, like this is happening like in this movie.
Doesn't it also like, sorry to interject, but like
go ahead.
just the idea that you see, you talk about mutilation, but like we're talking about like in terms of death, but like the fact that they all woke up mutilated animals that had all been completely toyed with different kind of augmentation and stuff like that to each and every one of them. And doesn't that add, like in my opinion, just thinking about it, like a nice little twist at how he and Nebula kind of were, where he never viewed Nebula as something different. He's like, oh, I've been around creatures who
I've been like torn apart.
Who've been torn apart and put back together millions of times. I myself have been on that table. And like even that little quote where Nebula says she's like his past, like when they found out what happened to him and they were viewing his memories, and they were like, his past is way worse than anything I've ever been through. And like how she felt about him was probably also very similar in that sense, where it's like, this is one person in the Bowie, the only person who actually knows what's going on and what's been going on with me and can actually relate to it, like sincerely. Even her own sister, who's witnessed it, in her opinion, was always kind of the enemy because she was part of the reason why that was happening in Nebula.
Yeah.
Well, I think I didn't like the differences in tone. Again, like I just wanted more consistency. Like, yeah, have a joke here and there, but like don't be trying to like do like a big like 10-50 like a 10-minute gag moment, like the elevator. When they were going up, they were like they were just bickering. I'm like, that's kind of like unnecessary,
I feel like that was kind of necessary for the people who weren't caught up on like all the Avengers stuff, because he just laid out like what's the current situation with Gamora,
Yeah.
And that's the sucky part about being part of like a bigger franchise, is that those kind of scenes
you kind of have to fill it in because if not, it's gonna take out any viewers that aren't like huge Marvel people out of it because they.
Well, I think this movie you didn't even need to necessarily even watch the other Marvel movies, because the only person that was realistically that had any change in character was Gamora.
I mean, yeah, you're right. If Gamora wouldn't have been part of this film, there would have been zero real recap.
And and honestly, I don't even think she added anything to the movie.
Yeah, but I think they still had to address it because it's like obviously that she's alive and she was part of the team. It's not like they're just gonna completely exclude her and be like, oh, like, he didn't even try.
I think if they would have done like a 10-minute like excerpt like in the middle or at the beginning saying like what happened to Gamora, like a quick thing like that could even have been like a gag joke where they do like where they get together and they do like between all the characters and do like a background of what happened to Gamora after the blip.
I 100% disagree with you.
I was thinking about it in a different way
She's
too.
super important because, I mean, just starting off, Peter Quill is drunk. Like, he is, like, depressed.
An alcoholic.
Because of what he lost his
like, even that interaction with Nebula, where he called Nebula Gamora, and Nebula didn't even seem phased. She was just like...
yeah.
Just like, he's
Damn, another dude's calling me Gamora.
Well, not even that. I'm sure that hurt her, too. But, like, I'm sure she's heard Peter call her Gamora enough times in the last couple of years.
Or her dad's like, why can't you be more like Gamora?
Like, that's Nebula's sister, too. Like, Nebula lost her sister.
Well, not really, because I guess...
After Volume 2, they were on a.
They were tight.
They were tight, but I mean, like they kind of like when Gamora comes back with Nebula, they felt like they still had that same closeness. It's just that she was in a different group. You know, because like, oh yeah, I know where Gamora is. I can call in a favor. She's gonna help me out. Blah blah blah. You know,
But it's
not
still
because
not
she
her
wanted to.
Gamora. That's the thing. Like
I know, but I think it's
She did still
I
deserve
think
more.
it's a little bit more formative for Nebula to try to reach out to, like, be the opposite of what Gamora was for her.
that's what she had to do in Endgame.
Yeah.
In Endgame, she had to prove that she was the one who was sane and that and convince Gamora you can leave Thanos.
Yeah,
You're like Thanos won't win this. Like versus Gamora still kind of struggling with that whole identity of like,
Yeah.
should I just let my dick of a father rule? But yeah, I mean,
Yeah, no, she was necessary. I think. It was
oh no,
important.
I don't know.
Plus-
I'm glad that they didn't try to force her back into the group.
I felt like I did feel like Peter was trying to force that interaction.
absolutely.
No,
yeah,
that was the
but-
point.
So-
But
I know.
The movie didn't play out that way, which is, I think, good.
Yeah, and like it's super relatable, you know, to look at Peter and like, you know, you see that he still loves her and she's not the same girl, but
He's
he
literally distressed.
but he needs her, and for him to realize at the end that, you know, it's okay to move on and live your
what he
own
needs
life.
to do is work on himself.
Yeah, that's why he at the end he goes back to discover his roots and, you know, live his life on Earth and just
Yeah.
figure things out, you know.
And if you really think about it too, like it also adds emphasis. This is the first character we've seen that really will give us an opportunity to kind of set the stage away from like realism and like, you know, therapy and moving on and all this stuff, but like sets what Marvel wants to probably try to emphasize with multiversal like events, where it's like you have now been introduced to, you know, like Loki talked about different timelines and stuff like that, but we honestly didn't get a chance to meet like Loki from, let's be honest, Loki from back in time was the exact same Loki. Like when we went back in time and this Loki was now all of a sudden alive, you didn't feel like this Loki has a completely different personality. And you did get a chance to meet like the different alternate reality Lokis once he had been absorbed or I forgot what they pronged him or whatever.
Oh, in the show?
Yeah, in the show.
the alternates, yeah.
Yeah, the alternates you got
Or
a
the
chance
variants,
to. The
sorry.
variants, exactly. But they were so different, and like it felt like. So in my opinion, when I watched Loki, like I didn't really see like, oh, these are actual like characters that are ever going to be used in like Marvel universe like movies. They're just members that are added as additional cast to a show. But now seeing like an alternate Gamora and seeing that she's still like got elements of Gamora in her, but yeah, she's a little bit more ruthless. And like watching her soften up, like still take the same path, but watching her still be fundamentally a little bit different and have her own personality, like it does set a stage for a character that has that potential for other Marvel films where it's like, hey, if they ever were to bring back a Tony Stark or a Captain America character from another timeline or another universe, like expect different.
Different. Yeah.
Do not expect the same, you know, exact character. Do not expect the exact same jokes, the exact same writing.
But you know what I'm more interested in is like that idea. Like a lot of us have thought of this. Like, man, like what if I didn't meet this person?
Oh, absolutely.
You know, how would my life turn out?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And you see that if she didn't meet Peter, she would have still found a group or a family to bond with.
Yeah.
And you know, and she's super. Like you could see at the end of the movie, she's super happy with the Ravager
And
family.
they cared about
And
her.
They care about her, and that's all she ever wanted. And that's not to say that it's better than what her relationship with the Guardians would have been, but you know,
Yeah.
two different pathways, but they would have resulted in her finding a family and like being accepted, which is something that her father Thanos and even Nebula like couldn't give her.
Yeah, which I guess goes to show exactly what she was looking for, which was a family.
Yeah. So like moving along from that, there's a lot of really cool like James Gunn things in this movie still. Like personally, I really love the soundtrack. Going back to Creep,
Yeah.
like it's a great song.
Absolutely.
I think all the music choices in this
Really
like
good.
it hit for me.
Florence and the Machine. Now we're gonna look
Yeah.
at it again the same way.
I know the dog days are over, but
Yeah.
that song definitely encapsulates a lot of the feelings for, first of all, the end of this Guardians team, the end of James Gunn's time at Marvel, the team members that walked away
Yeah.
from it. You know,
Dave Bautista is leaving, isn't he?
he's leaving. Mantis is doing her own thing. Star-Lord's back on Earth. else?
Rocket's the
Dude.
leader of the new team.
Yeah, Nebula's taking care of
Do
Nowhere.
you think they're gonna do a spin-off with the new team and like build on that, or?
I don't know if I want that even.
Yeah.
To be 100%
I don't
honest.
even.
I do want-
I kind of just want them to end it here.
I'm
Yeah.
okay with some of these characters coming back in like an Avengers level
Yeah.
movie.
Like Star-Lord coming back, I'd love that.
Well, even not even just that. Like I think Adam Warlock needs time to be an actual Adam Warlock. I did like the concept of it's like he's a baby. Like, I'm sorry, you can't just build a fucking adult and expect him to be an adult. Like I don't like it when like adults are created and all their perfect emotion and they don't have any flaws, and it's like in this case he has all the intelligence but he has zero like
Common
EQ.
sense, yeah.
It's like you can have all the IQ in the world, but if you don't have EQ and common sense, all of a sudden like you're gonna be like exactly what he was, what Adam Warlock was in this movie, which was emotionally like a child.
Yeah.
And not understanding and getting attached or not realizing why things are bad or why things are good.
Yeah.
So I hope that eventually he becomes like the powerful and like leader type character that he is in the comics. But
Yeah, I hope so. He was actually in the books. He's a big part of like the Infinity War.
absolutely,
Like the fight against Thanos. And I remember people were like, where's Adam Warlock and all that crap. But I feel like they could establish him as like a big player in the future.
yeah,
Whether that be in like what is it, like Secret Wars or whatever. Because
Yeah.
obviously there's gonna be like a multiversal war coming.
Yeah.
with Kang.
But he's a really interesting character. Although I feel like
Well, do you? Well,
because you said Star-Lord. I mean, not Star-Lord. You could take Gamora out of the movie and it won't matter. But I feel like that you could say that for Adam Warlock.
no, for sure. Adam
Yeah.
Warlock.
Adam Warlock would be the most, in my opinion.
Yeah.
What's going back to what you said about Kane the Conqueror? What do you guys think is gonna actually come out with that guy? Like he fucked up his own bag, kind of.
Yeah, they're gonna fucking
Like Kang?
fire him. Dude.
Yeah, dude. He
We're not
has.
talking about Kang during a Guardians review.
Well, I think now it's you know.
No, I mean it's Marvel, but I do think that whatever happened with what's his name,
Jonathan Majors?
Yeah.
Jonathan Davis, kind of fucked up. I think Disney's probably gonna want to part ways with him. So
Honestly, I
don't
like the High Evolutionary better as a villain than Kang. I know
I mean,
Kang
it-
is supposed to be the big bad, but
That just goes to show, though, that the writing in general was better in this one than
Yeah.
it was in Quantumania. I mean, I don't know if you can put that on Jonathan Majors fully. I mean, it's hard to always.
no. I was
make-
impressed by what he did in Quantumania.
Honestly, in Quantumania, his passion as a character in Kang was, I think that's the best he could do with what he was given.
Yeah,
But
because he was great in Creed.
yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He was great.
Yeah.
He
yeah,
showed.
no, in Creed, he was great.
Like if he gives
Yeah,
that same
but-
energy as him being Kane the Conqueror, like
Yeah.
oh my god, like that'd be amazing.
Check out our review on Creed 3.
Yeah, watch previous episodes.
Shameless plug.
That's episode 2.
That's two spelled TWO.
merch coming out soon. I think Kang is not gonna be a good MCU villain.
Yeah, I think they fucked up. Well, he
Like,
fucked up.
It's hard to go from like Thanos to like another actual threat
Yeah.
and menace that makes sense. Like,
Well, Thanos was like what a 10 year long fucking.
Thanos was a 10 out of 10
Yeah.
villain too. Like, let's be
Yeah,
honest.
It'll take you
that's
10
top
years
tier
to
villain
establish
of
it,
like
yeah.
all
Yeah.
time.
There, if anything, like this is the problem, right? Like we're in the stage and era technically of like, this is the end credit sequence where Thanos is showing up in Asgard stealing the gauntlet. Like this is the level of where we're at with Kang. Like, yeah, he got to be the bad guy in Quantumania, but he hasn't even, like, nobody knows about him besides Ant-Man. And so right now, Thanos, this is maybe like, even if, think about it like Guardians, I guess, 1. Like, so
Yeah.
we haven't had a chance to actually let Kang be explored as the villain that he's supposed to be in the comics and the big bad that he truly is.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, like I said,
I think you just need a good writer because the High Evolutionary to me was a big threat, and all he was doing was trying to get Rocket. Versus
Yeah.
Kang is like trying to get
he's
destroy,
trying.
or I don't know, do his own thing with the multiverse.
Yeah.
You know, like this smaller scale thing was more important to me than the bigger stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I think it's more impactful, right? Because
Yeah, it's more impactful.
you realize you're like, damn, I actually care about Rocket. Like, fuck you. Like,
Yeah, like,
leave
we
him
care
alone.
about this team.
Well,
man.
I think it wasn't like the actual event that was going on. I think it was just the fact of how ultra personal everything felt between the characters. You know, like this guy is literally obsessed with Rocket. He's like, why is this fucking animal smarter than me and figuring out things that I couldn't even. Like, I've been working on this for fucking a millennium. Like, however long he's been working on it, and he couldn't figure out how to get to this certain stage. This fucking raccoon that he made
yeah.
was able to outsmart him off the rip. Like,
Yeah,
And he's like,
absolutely.
why? Because he himself said like
Why are you like the one? Like,
the one?
what makes you
Yeah.
unique?
And because he has such a big ego with that line where he says, you know, there is no God, so I'm the one that's stepping in,
yeah.
right, to take his place or be who he's supposed to be. And Rocket was like his biggest personal threat, that his
Yeah.
creation is better than him.
No, absolutely. And I think why this guy made it so important too is like, I don't know, like I think the emotion I would say like going into this movie, especially after all the events that MCU has gone through, is like it's almost like grief. Like you're already like, stop ripping away these characters from me. I mean, shit. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, after all these past movies have happened, I do miss. I know I said what I said about Captain America. I don't take it back, except for that ass. That is America's ass.
That is America's ass.
But I miss Iron Man and Captain America. Like, fuck. Like, it's hard. It's hard to like remember that I'm not gonna get that interaction anymore, and I do have to deal with Shuri being the Black Panther, which I'm sorry, but not a huge fan about that.
Yeah, me neither.
But it is what it is. I mean, you know, rest in peace, Chadwick. I gotta give respect, and they did the best that they could. It was still a good movie in my
Yeah,
opinion.
no, Chadwick was the next in line. I feel
It's
like,
it's
being
crazy. I
lead.
think when if I was Marvel, I wouldn't have made that Wakanda Forever.
Really?
God damn it.
Yeah. No,
Did you
I
hate
Isaac's like, I don't
no,
know.
because it was bad.
It was
okay?
good, dude. It was a good
Yeah,
movie.
it was-
They-
I think
it was-
Namor,
yeah.
and like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I would have agreed that Nakia probably should have been the Black
They-
Panther, because Nakia showed.
Yeah, I would have
Nakia
liked
sh-
her as Black
Nakia
Panther.
showed a lot more, and Shuri's just a genius. Like, she didn't need to be the fighter.
Yeah, she's not a
She's
fighter.
such the brains. She made Tony Stark look like an idiot sometimes.
You know, I would have liked it if Shuri and Nakia were
Shared
both
the mantle.
If they
Yeah.
shared the Black Panther title,
Yeah,
that would have
absolutely.
been sick.
Like, there was a lot of creative choices that I feel like could have been different. But what I was trying to say with the grief thing is just like, yeah, like these characters, like with Chadwick, and obviously being a lot more real than like just not having the characters of Tony Stark or of Steve Rogers anymore. But like now with Gamora having died, and it's like, you know, like there's a part of me that like I agree with all of you guys. It was the best writing choice to not have her join the Guardians. But I'm like, I was kind of like, no, please give me the thing that I know, that I love, nothing else has to change. Like, we're all going through our lives as adults, and everything's changing way too fast. And like, I'm tired of change. Like, give me a little bit of comfort.
Let me hold
It's
on
like,
to something.
Let me hold on
Yeah.
to something. And it's like, and then Rocket's about to die. I'm like, you motherfucker.
Oh my
And then
God.
like, you don't know if Nebula and he's on the ship. I'm like, who else is James Gunn gonna kill in this
Yeah.
fucking movie? Like, it's stupid motherfucker.
Let's talk about that Rocket's death.
Oh, 'cause he did die.
He did die.
Yeah.
He died.
He did die.
He saw the fair or whatever the
Lila,
Lila,
yeah.
his
and
otter,
Teefs and
Yeah.
Floor.
Teefs and Floor,
And Teeps.
Teefs.
como la flor.
They got big Teeps.
Yeah. God,
those guys were
characters
adorable.
They were beautiful
They were
characters.
adorable.
They were adorable,
The
but
poor
and
bunny
creepy.
with, like,
Oh my god,
covered
the
mouth
bunny
and- yeah.
scared the shit out of
So
me, bro.
creepy.
With
Yeah.
spider legs, I was like, oh my
Reminded me of
god.
Toy Story.
Yeah.
Yes.
The head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but no,
Walked around.
those scenes were so fucking beautiful.
And it sucks because I look at those characters and I just see them as like these kids, these babies that got tortured and put through like some like really unimaginable stuff, and then to be killed like that, like that's really dark. Like if you take away the animal aspect of it, like these are people who suffered and got killed,
Yeah, these are
And-
souls that.
and Rocket had to like carry that with
Dude,
him.
that
imagine,
was so fucked up. That scene where he just starts yelling and screaming.
Yeah.
It's like
imagine
that
just
was
like
heavy.
like
That was
the
super
like the
heavy.
initial experiments that they all went through, where you got consciousness, like you understood, instead of being more like animalistic, you were basically a sentient being that had
Sentient,
thought.
yeah.
It was crazy, man. Imagine feeling that, like Rocket was like, dude, where the fuck am I?
Well,
dude?
Rocket, like you see him, like they just throw him in the cage and his head's all like shaved.
that
It's
first
still
scene-
bleeding.
And
He's
he-
still
yeah, and
bleeding.
all he can say is just like hurt.
hurts.
Hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hurts.
it hurts.
What do you think would be
Jesus
worse
Christ,
though?
that hurt me, man.
Going into that scene too, like, and like those background scenes, like I don't even know who has it the worst, because you look at a character like Teefs and Floor, who clearly were like Mark 1, like their intelligence was lower, their cognitive ability was lower.
They're more like
They
mechanical.
they were more mechanical, and more than anything too, they were just able. They didn't have like the understanding of like how bad of a situation they were. And then you see Lila, who has a lot more intelligence than the two of them.
She's a lot more hopeful.
She's a lot more hopeful too, which is great. But then that means that, I mean, with that hope also comes despair
Yeah.
when towards the end.
Towards the end.
And then you see someone like Rocket, who is just so smart, who run leagues around every single person in that facility technically, and that's exactly what the High Evolutionary was upset about, was what happened. He doesn't understand how a creature he created could basically be smarter than him. But like, I don't know, it's that's also part of like the sadness too, is like you sometimes almost hope like it's the character like Teefs that will survive, who's like the the idiot who is so happy and joyful
Yeah.
and doesn't ever feel like life could be
Like
negative,
happy-go-lucky.
versus
yeah.
someone like Rocket who survives that interaction. It's like that's what, like, that guy's gonna need years of therapy to even deal with that.
That's why he's so
And he
bitter.
didn't get
Yeah,
it.
that's
Didn't
and that's
get
what it's
any
like.
therapy.
Versus like Teefs, like he'd be upset and he'd cry every now and then, but he'd live a life of happiness and joy if he ever made it out of it.
Was it?
He reminds me of
Ignorance is bliss.
Doesn't he remind you of like Pumbaa?
Oh
from,
my gosh!
Lion King?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
I love Pumbaa.
Oh my gosh, those characters were so wholesome. But yeah,
Yeah, it's fucked up. Like that whole interaction with the higher evolutionary or whatever, where he's like, "You were smart enough to figure out like how to make the creatures better." It's like, but you're too stupid to see that you're not going to the new world.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
I was
man,
just
that
like,
hurt.
fuck.
That
And then it
hurt.
just breaks him. Like you just see him go from like happy that they're going to the new world to like realizing, oh, we're not.
Yeah.
And
We
it
were just
really
part of
sets him up
human
as a
experiments.
dick too, because when you realize he's not just talking to Rocket, he's talking to children,
Children.
and he's like, I don't care. He's like, you guys.
You're means to an end.
He's
I
like
don't
he
give a
literally.
shit.
I mean, we're watching him put fucking animals and creatures into incendiaries and just like burning them up like they're nothing.
Oh, dude, like that fucked up Ninja Turtle.
Oh, yeah.
Remember
and
that?
then just immediately burns him alive. I
Yeah.
was like, Jesus.
Well, like, I think he's been doing it for so long. I think he just became numb to his own like hubris. You know, like,
Yeah.
like this guy's definitely crazy, and you know,
He thinks he's a god. He's like,
like-
I'm entitled. He's like, this is what I need to do.
he's like, I got you to this point, so I can destroy you. Why is it such a big deal?
Yeah,
And
he's literally playing God at that point.
like, try to think about an MCU villain that you actually hate, because we like Thanos, we like Loki. Personally, I like Ultron too.
I like Killmonger. He was probably
Yeah,
one of my
Killmonger
favorite
was
ones,
badass. And then all the other ones, if you didn't like them, they got killed anyways.
Too. Yeah.
Well, High Evolutionary got killed as well.
No, he actually he was saved by Drax when they were throwing everybody onto nowhere. Drax was carrying him over.
Drax carried him over?
Yeah, you couldn't really see it, but James Gunn confirmed that High Evolutionary is still alive.
Oh,
So he's not dead.
But another character that we hate. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
Uh,
I think of women
Shuri.
like. Shut up.
Villain.
No. But like, I mean, even
Villain.
I guess
That's a hero.
here's one. I mean, I guess now that you've added the stipulation,
I don't know,
that they still have to
sheesh.
be alive. But Ironmonger. I mean, he was a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah,
It
man.
was Jeff Bridges though.
Jeff
Who
Bridges.
doesn't
Like,
like Jeff Bridges?
I mean, I love Jeff Bridges.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I have to like him.
no, that's why.
But like, I mean, like,
Wait,
but
which
even
one's
then,
that one?
No, but
The
Iron Man
Iron Man 1.
But he got killed though.
that's what I'm saying. Now that you've added the stipulation of had to have died, I don't know.
I mean, even the Red Skull, he was a Nazi, but he was an interesting, like classic retro type of villain, you know?
yeah. I mean, well, yeah, they didn't make
Alexis,
him a hated
Are you
character.
a Nazi apologist? What's going on here? Who do you...
Nah, fucking
No, I agree with
hate
Alexis though.
Nazis.
The Red Skull was not meant to like. He didn't. And again, this goes to show Steve Rogers is such a fucking great character because nothing could hurt him. But like Rocket was hurt.
Yeah.
I think that's the difference is we haven't seen a character that has hurt the
he was
individual
broken.
characters and broken them to that level.
And then there were no repercussions to the villain either.
Yeah.
Like he was able to walk away. Obviously until the end of this movie.
Yeah.
Alex, you got his
Well, no, there
face
was a
torn
yeah.
up.
He got his face whole turned.
No,
up.
that's what I'm saying. Until the end of the movie.
But no, even when he got his face
got
all turned off though, he was still fine. Like he managed like. He was like, I'm not fine, but he's like, I'm still like, I'm gonna put my face back together.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look pretty, got my makeup on and everything, fucking on fleek.
Well,
Yeah.
you know,
I'm good.
before
He
this,
still shows the same face.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah,
right?
he got one of them Beverly
I know.
Hills doctors to suit it.
And he could have chosen a better face. I'm just saying, bro. Like,
Isaac, George, you guys were saying that you don't like the High Evolutionary much.
no.
Yeah, I didn't like him that
I-
much. He was a lot like he was just very exaggerated for me in some points.
One of the issues I had
Character,
with that character too was that he didn't have a reason to be a dick. He just was seeking perfection. But I feel like if he was so good at what he was doing, he's been doing it for so long, he could have figured other ways to look for perfection.
I think that was the problem is though that he realized that nobody is closer to perfection than the one creature he made by accident. It's kind of like when you have like that fucking ego of like, damn, I'm hot shit. I'm so smart. And then you accidentally got it right. And you can't replicate the results no matter how hard you try. So it just eats you alive where it's like, you're great, but it wasn't on purpose.
And you can't do it again.
And you can't do it again. So are you really great? Like he himself says, I'm a god, but it's like, how could you be a god if you can't do it again?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it's like, I think like his ego and his like mania, like of just like becoming like unraveling as a character to become just twisted and evil and doing some terrible things. And it goes to show too, his feeling that he's above everything else. He's like, you guys are all just toys and pawns, and I will start over, and I won't even bat an eye when I destroy an entire planet.
Yeah, he literally destroyed that planet.
Yeah, killed every single person. And he's like, what of it? He's like, they were going to be members of my perfect world, but they weren't perfect, so they don't deserve to.
They
live.
weren't perfect. Instead, they were the 80s in America.
Yeah. And so they deserved it. That was
Yeah.
true. That's
Yeah.
the sympathize in me.
Absolutely. I think he is one of the best villains of the MCU, for sure.
I don't know if I would say the best.
Yeah,
I mean, he's good.
But I mean, think about it this way. Like, you even said,
he's
I
a
love
skewed
Killmonger.
perspective a bit, but like
Yeah.
I don't think he's one of the best.
But I mean,
Killmonger
you
was-
were saying, like, I love Killmonger too, right? But that's the thing is, like, the thing that made Killmonger good was the perspective that, like, you couldn't really say Killmonger was fully wrong.
no, Killmonger was right in his own way.
Exactly.
The way
That-
he was going about it was
No,
wrong.
but
I think
like-
Alexis's perspective of him of High Evolutionary being one of the best villains is because
Okay.
this one he
He's-
is fully wrong.
Yeah, this
And
guy
I
is
just-
a
You
villain.
love to hate him,
Yeah.
like fully. Like you're like nobody's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
agree with him.
Everybody here,
that.
all the like quote unquote villains have their justifications.
Yeah.
Although even Loki started off as like a legit villain, but then he turned into kind of like an anti-hero.
Yeah.
You know, but I feel like this is the only legit villain that we've.
Yeah, even like
Really got
even
it.
someone
He's
like
just full on evil. This fucking
Yeah.
I mean, aside from
tortures-
like the Red Skull,
tortures
you know.
animals and shit.
yeah.
Yeah, but like we could see his depravity more than the other.
I think I wouldn't mind seeing the Red Skull come back though. To be honest, like him
Well, we
as
did
a
see him in Endgame.
Well, I know that's what
Or
I'm saying, but
Infinity
like him being like a
The Guardian of the Soul
like
Stone?
a major antagonist
Yeah.
come back. Like he figured out how to do whatever he used to do on that. Like,
Yeah.
little
No,
part.
I'd love to see him.
And I
back
think
too.
it'd be a cool like it'd be
Doesn't
part of
he-
a cool refresh.
Doesn't the Red Skull team up often with what's his name, MODOK? feel like-
like the Masters of
Yeah,
Evil.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Like something like that would be interesting.
Modok was terrible.
I'm just, oh, you know what? You know what? If we want to boil it out to talk about any other thing besides this, I'm just upset we don't have Doctor Doom yet, bro. That's the
Well,
only
it's
thing
coming
that we
up,
need.
man. It's coming
We
up.
better
When is
fucking get it in
it,
Secret
coming?
Wars.
Well, Fantastic Four is coming, and
Oh,
Secret
that's
Wars
right,
better
they're
include
doing
Doctor
Secret
Doom.
Wars. It should.
It better, but
What is Secret Wars about again?
Basically, there's gonna be an incursion, so like a destruction of universes, and the Avengers need to stop that from happening.
It'd be cool if we see Tony Stark and
alternate universe.
an alternate universes or
Do you think they'll bring it back?
I mean, alternate
didn't
universes.
Robert Downey Jr. say he's done?
I mean,
He
I
said
don't.
he's done.
I don't think that he is. I think he's done leading it, and I completely agree. I don't think Tony Stark should ever be the main character of a Marvel movie ever again. But could he come back in an incursion type event where it's like, or kind of like exactly like what we
Yeah.
had with Multiverse of Madness, where you had the Illuminati,
Yeah.
and you just see Professor X up there. It's like something small, something minimal.
A little cameo, yeah.
A little cameo, even if it was like a 15-minute runtime, or if he was a supporting character that showed up for a little bit and then left.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and then also characters do come back often, even
Yeah.
when they say they're
Yeah.
done. Look at fucking Wolverine. Like,
Yeah, he's
Oh,
back.
I know,
He's
I'm-
come back.
All it
That's
took was
great.
Ryan
yeah.
Reynolds, bro.
yeah, Ryan Reynolds.
The Canadians,
is like,
bro,
"All right."
they get it.
Yeah.
Buttered him up, and then it's like, all right, I'm back.
I kind of want to see.
How are they gonna do it after Logan though? Like,
It'll be a variant, I think.
Yeah.
gonna be a variant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to see Deadpool in the mainstream of
MCU.
MCU.
He will be.
I think they're gonna, but they're gonna fucking censor him.
No, actually, I think it's gonna be the
Disney's
first
committed
rated
to
R,
rated R
Yeah,
on this
first
new
rated
one,
R
and it's
MCU.
Disney.
Rated R what?
like
Deadpool
mo-
3
movie.
is going to be
Deadpool
a
3.
rated R movie.
No, I get that, but like when he's in the main ones.
This
Oh,
is still
like
by
when he-
Disney though, so
Oh, I see.
that's
That's
the
why.
thing.
No, yeah, but like, let's say he joins the Avengers. It's like they're gonna censor the hell out of it.
And
Well, I mean,
bet
it
they'll make a
shouldn't.
joke out of
I mean,
it.
it shouldn't be though. At the end of the day, like I agree with what you're saying, but it shouldn't be that. Like if they do decide to bring Deadpool into a major film, if it's all Deadpool joke, like Deadpool should make small jokes here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
but
but-
you know what? I feel that Marvel needs to continue making movies like Volume 3. Like
Yeah.
I don't want these big events right now.
Absolutely.
And I don't really want the lead up to these big events. They should go back to it just being hints, like
Yeah.
dropping hints, like they did with Thanos.
That's what they
I
did so
agree.
well with Thanos because it's like the buildup was insane.
The end credit
but, like,
scenes is all I needed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like there's nothing that's keeping us like wanting more, and it's like even though Volume 3 ended, and I feel like it ended in a good way, you know, where they're all kind of in a happy state, right? But like there was nothing that like okay, like all they said was like Star-Lord will be returning, and I'm like I give a fuck about Star-Lord. Like it's cool now that now they're gonna try to fix his daddy issues and all that stuff.
Mommy
Right?
issues.
A little bit of daddy.
yeah,
Because
that's true.
Ego, come on.
Well,
Yeah.
ego. Well, he already killed his dad.
Yeah.
So.
I don't care about Star-Lord. There's nothing that like bringing me back. There's not like a new character that's gonna be like over.
I actually care a lot about Star-Lord. I think there's a lot to see with him.
I don't think so, man. I think they're gonna like really just put that like, oh yeah, I'm cool with my dad. And
I don't think so because he kind of resented his time on Earth. And now he's accepted that that's a part of his life, and so he's got a lot to explore.
I think the only reason he resents it is because he's still a child. He still hasn't fully like.
Well, yeah, he was taken when he was like 10 or something.
Yeah, he hasn't matured in saying like, I don't think it was all that bad. Like, I think I misinterpreted what my dad said, and I'm not, and that's it. Like he's looking at it from a very not mature person and trying to deal with his emotions, and we see that with him and Gamora. Like. He doesn't understand that what he's trying to do is not helping the situation whatsoever. I feel like in every part of, even in Volume 3, he kind of worsened the situation every time. Like, they didn't have any positive interactions. Like,
well, yeah, because he's fucking up that part of his
Yeah,
life.
I think that was a vehicle to show his desperation for how much he wanted her.
Like, jumping on that, like, Peter's relationship with Gamora kind of mirrors us as MCU fans, where we want things to be like how they were.
Yeah,
Things are always gonna change.
everything changes,
and
in the
you
Foundation
just
sense.
gotta let it go. Like let it keep moving forward instead of trying to go back to how it used to be.
Yeah, we just have to hope that it's a good change.
I want to talk about performances because I feel like Chris Pratt did like his best in this movie. He was so good. Like I felt his pain. I saw his strength as a leader. And Bradley Cooper was great as Rocket, of course.
I didn't even realize it was Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
And I was
Bradley
like,
Cooper
no
is the
fucking wonder.
best
He is the best
performance in
Wait,
this movie for sure.
Isn't the stand-in for Rocket James Gunn's brother?
Yeah, Sean Gunn.
Yeah. Have you seen him in the green suit? It's
It's hilarious.
He's just like on
He's
his
all like
knees,
lanky.
crawling
He's got
around.
his big belly.
They're petting him.
That's funny as fuck.
Jeez, my mic
No,
is
yeah.
just falling.
He did amazing. Dave Bautista, I feel like, is underrated when it comes to like movies. And,
I like that
his
they explained him better though, because like you think about like people always talk about Drax the Destroyer, and I was kind of reading into the character a little bit more and like looking at like watching some videos about him, and people were talking about like he was actually a normal human, and then he was given these powers like to become a destroyer. But it's like the way that it feeds him, he's like you weren't meant to be a destroyer. Like you became a destroyer because of the terrible, horrible things that happened to you in life. But you were meant and you were made to be a father.
I thought that was beautiful.
I was like, that explains so much more of his like his tone and how he is and how he. I was like, where's Dave Bautista, the wrestler who wants to rip your head off? And this guy's name is the Destroyer. Where is that guy? And it's like that kind of wrapped that up in a nice little bow for me too, where it's like he had to become a destroyer. That doesn't mean like he wanted to.
He wanted to be, yeah.
And that's not what his calling was. His calling was to raise kids and help with families and build.
Personally, that's why I think this movie is the best.
Absolutely.
In the Marvel, like I think it's my top MCU movie because you see development, you see growth, you see people moving on. Like these are actual things that happen in real life.
So now you're saying better than No Way Home because you didn't say that.
just-
second
I think
time.
it's better than No Way
I know, I
Home.
was like,
You didn't say that at the beginning of the podcast.
guys. He just dropped that statement. I was like, is no one gonna say anything?
Hey, dude,
That's
check
huge.
out my letterbox, man. Like I made my ranking. It's
His SoundCloud too.
first of all, that's a non-sponsored ad right there for Letterboxd.
Yeah. Sponsored
Yeah,
ad
I
for
love
Sound.
Letterbox, so you guys need to jump on it.
I'm on it, but I just haven't used it.
Yeah,
I feel like I need to. It's gonna take me a long time to build
It's
up my
so
fucking
simple.
list. No. Like
Just to add all the
all
movies?
the movies I've watched, and actually
Yeah.
put the rating. Like fuck, that's gonna be a whole like day process.
Yeah, it did take me like half a day just to go.
I know. Alexis is like, it's simple. No, bitch, it's not about downloading the app. It's about fucking using it.
And using it properly.
Yeah, but any other thoughts? Do you want to go into anything else, or you want to kind of?
I thought it was fantastic. I agree with Alexis. It's top tier Marvel movies for me, too. I think they did it really well. A bunch of band of misfits, and then they broke down the characters a little bit, so we understand where they're coming from. Like
And
said,
I like the
like-
comedic breaks too. I was going to add that. I mean, we didn't really talk about scenes or go into specifics in the movie.
We
Like,
could.
the scene in space, the one where they were at the research base trying to
Oh, with the
find Rocket's
colorful?
members with the colorful suits
Yeah.
and like the.
I thought that was really funny.
I thought it was a great
Mantis
scene.
kept fucking falling on her face like the whole time.
Yeah, the
I saw
cheese
her fall,
curds.
like 3 or 4 times. She's Scorpion in
And,
one of the
Yeah, she's Scorpion.
I don't even know. I don't even know
Such
who
an
that
idiot.
actor
I was
is
like, God damn
that
it.
plays the lead cheese curd guy.
Nathan Fillion.
Nathan Fillion.
He's really good.
He's
a really
so
good
funny in this movie,
Wait,
and
which,
like
which guy?
The guy was like, "Oh, you got one of those yet?"
yeah, that
Me too.
interaction
Right,
too.
I hate that guy.
The amount of times that I've been called the one of those in the last couple of days, and I've just been like the disappointment of everybody. It's added to my personal
It used to
trauma.
be Isaac, and then Nick came along,
Yeah.
so it's all right.
Now I'm the one.
We all love those
I make
guys.
everybody feel bad.
I know in the movie he said he hates that guy, but he secretly loves that guy.
Yeah, because if you don't have that guy, you can't love the other people just a little bit more.
Yep.
Exactly. It's necessary.
That's necessary.
You're necessary, Nick.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about the runtime? I think it was a little long.
No, I loved
I
it.
was like, give
That
me
was
more,
perfect.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know,
I'll watch
man.
a
I
3
loved
hour.
it.
This was a really good looking movie too.
It was
Like the CGI was great.
A1.
It was super.
It was
they
$200
put
million to make though. So.
Yeah, it was 200 mil.
I mean, come on. It's like, with that amount of money.
It's
Yeah.
If you
impossible.
don't do it right, then what the fuck is...
But then I keep comparing it, but like Quantumania, like that movie kind of looked like shit sometimes. Like honestly, I didn't dislike it as much as other people.
Yeah.
But the quality of work between that and Guardians,
Night and day.
I think
night and day, yeah.
Quantumania was really like fucking like ambitious though. I mean, if you think about the sets, like it was all like supposed to be super crazy and weird. I mean,
It was the introduction to fucking...
the quantum realm in a different
Quantum
way.
realm. Kang.
Kane.
Yeah, I
Kang
mean-
the Conqueror, but it sucked. I was like, this is so like underwhelming almost.
It did.
I was
feel
like,
that
a
way.
bunch of ants defeated him.
It kind of feels that
it was
movie
funny.
felt like a Saturday morning cartoon,
Yeah, I could see
but
that.
this movie felt like
A AAA film.
yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah. Like I could relate to it. You know, it made me feel. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, guys. Like I like teared up a lot.
Me
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
teared up like by the end of the movie, like after Dog Days are over. Like I was tearing up like when I was seeing how happy everybody was and how Drax was
scene-
with the
okay.
kids.
We don't need to talk about another fucking scene in this
All
movie
right,
if we
all
ever
right.
finish it. The one scene I want to talk about is when Rocket actually died and Lila was like
Like-
asking, like she was talking to him and he
Oh,
said,
yeah.
"Can I come too?"
Mm.
He wasn't
Of
asking
course.
to come back to life. He was like, "Can
Like,
I
wanna
just
be
The
die?
pain's
with you
over.
guys.
Please, can I
Yeah.
just go?" And she was like, "Not yet." Like, oh my god, just that was
Yeah.
fucking,
I know. I was like,
that broke
I was like,
me,
there's no
dude.
fucking way. They better not kill him. I was
Oh
like,
my
what
God,
the fuck?
dude. I would've-
The scene that got me was when,
James Gunn probably lives in LA. I'll fight him.
I think he does live in LA.
I'll fight him, bro.
See that motherfucker on the street on
Yeah, bro.
on
It's-
Sepulveda.
He's gonna be crying.
It's on site.
You have
It's
white
on site,
hair
bro.
and it's kind of spiky,
Swinging.
bro. It's on sight.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I'm
James Gunn,
coming for you,
watch
bro.
your back,
Yeah,
motherfucker.
bro. Yeah,
Bro, a Taekwondo master on your ass,
yeah
man.
bro.
Yeah.
No, the scene that got me, man, was when he made the escape card key and he fucking swiped it on his friends and they were escaping and then the high evolutionary came and just started blasting.
He straight up shot Lila.
Lila and
With
then
Dassel's
I
flying,
thought
Dassel's dying.
her heart like exploded because he had the thing in his heart. So,
Yeah.
but when I saw that he had like the fucking gun
Yeah,
pointed
no.
at her, I was like, oh. And like even the moment where she touches her belly,
Yeah.
you know, and then
she's like, it's warm.
yeah, and then she's like, oh, I see the sky, and then her eyes go blank. Dude, that was like really painful.
And then he just starts way.
You ever
like,
think about the fact that
fucking
we're
shit.
26, 27-year-old motherfuckers in this room? Like, how are kids supposed to process these films, bro?
I
What if
think-
you're a father and you have to explain to your kid, like, yeah, dude, death fucking
Yeah,
sucks.
I think you can't. Probably kids just like that's what the little like jokes and shit are for, like for the kids.
You gotta hope.
Yeah.
It's fuck,
Because
dude.
like I want to go watch this with my little brother, and like you know, he was just kind of like, yeah, it was good, and I was like, what'd you think? Sad? He was just no, it was funny. And
Yeah,
I'm
my
just-
brother too. He
I'm
kind of
just
like glossed over
"Motherfucker,
it.
Did you not?
Thank
What
God,
the fuck?"
dude.
Like we did not see
Bro,
the same
I'm
movie.
over here crying,
Yeah.
and then you're just kind of like, yeah, the fucking otter died, whatever.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
Yeah, like the guy, his name was Wheels. He goes, she got floor.
Watch
he's like, I like teeths.
Tips, Wheels.
when they're older, they'll understand maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my
maybe.
god. Yeah, the rewatchability of some of these films when you think about like, oh shit, you're gonna watch when you're older and you're gonna be like, God
Dude,
damn.
what a era we're in for movies. Like we saw the whole like Avengers thing from Iron Man to like you know the end of
Yeah.
Avengers Endgame, and it's like that whole build up in time. It's like similar to I would say maybe like when the Harry Potter franchise was a thing, or when
Star Wars.
Star
maybe.
Wars was you know first coming out. Like
Yeah. Yeah, I
these
remember
are the movies for our generation, you know, and then we're gonna look back like holy shit, I remember when that came out, and like we
Yeah,
were
like
seeing
this
all
this
of-
was like an event in movie history.
Yeah.
You know, because
Yeah.
I remember like when Iron Man came out, it was 2008.
Yeah.
I don't know, I was like 12 or something. And just like at the end when Nick Fury is like, "Oh, we want you for the Avengers Initiative," and like me being a big comic book nerd, like I knew what it was.
Alexis
Huge one,
jizzed
bro.
his pants.
Yeah, like
he-
that was
yeah.
the first time
I just for other
ever-
reasons.
that just
Yeah.
humongous load.
But as a kid who reads comics, I know what that means. But I would have never imagined like this whole universe, this whole world. 10 years later, that
It was just great too growing up through it. And like honestly, I feel so lucky having like realized that at the beginning it was all about comic book like action. And so like thank God I didn't have to worry about having the emotional intelligence to understand some of these sequences and things. Like, I mean honestly, look at like Captain America 1, Iron Man 1, Thor 1. Like all these films were just like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like even Thor like being banished, it's like I was smart enough to understand the implications of that back then. This movie, if I watch it as a 13-year-old, like you said, like you guys talk about your brothers and stuff, it's just not. It's not getting digested the same.
Yeah.
So it feels great to now have reached a level of maturity where I can digest it in the ways that it was probably intended by the director.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because we grew up with these Guardians, you know, like
We
it
grew
came
up-
out
yeah.
in 2014. We were
fresh out of high
fresh
school.
out of high
We
school.
were
You were in your
just-
senior year.
Yeah.
You know, I remember Alexis was like obsessed with this movie when it first came out because I remember like he's like, dude, the soundtrack is so good.
Is it Ramona Flowers?
I don't even. Yeah, no, I don't even. Remember
Hey,
if we
I
watched
think
it
I
together,
briefly
but
remember
definitely
your.
I think we did.
I
We
think your
definitely did.
now wife cosplayed as Gamora for
She
Halloween.
did. That's
Yeah.
right. I forgot.
I'm sure
about
she wore that cosplay more than just Halloween, huh? You dirty dog.
Hey man, I'm not gonna talk about that.
That video on Pornhub is still out there.
Yeah.
You guys are sick.
He still has his Star-Lord helmet.
No, you know what's sick?
That's why this crushed him, that
Green
Gamora.
face.
Yeah.
That is not okay.
Alexis,
Hey, well-
what kind of things are you into?
Hey, why don't you talk to
Sick.
Isaac about green face? All right, a couple Halloweens ago, he dressed up as the Hulk
Gamora
or
too?
or
Oh.
lizard or something.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you were the lizard. I was Sandman, yeah.
Yeah.
You did, wait, you did full on like paint?
Yeah, he was
Yeah, I did.
all green.
That's
He had a
crazy.
lab coat and everything,
Yeah.
too.
That's
The lab
hilarious.
coat,
I was Sandman. You were Spidey, because, of course, who else
of
would you be?
course.
I did the crow one year.
Yeah, with real paint.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I had to work
Your
with what I
face
had.
is cracked up.
Yeah,
Dude,
no.
how was your skin like the day later? Jesus.
It felt soft.
It was
Yeah,
official.
all
it
all the
peeled
skin
off.
had
Yeah,
peeled
yeah.
off, so it was so soft. It's
You
a
got
nice chemical peel. Hey!
It's like a dolphin.
I want Marvel to look at this movie and say, this is the kind of shit that we need to start putting out.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. Like Disney is just a full on. Well, they're milking the shit out of the Marvel thing, you know. So they're not gonna give these writers and directors creative freedom
Well,
for all
I've noticed Marvel Studios has been like taking note, and you know they originally had the writer for Quantumania on for Secret War, like the Avengers movie, and I think there's rumors or maybe it was confirmed, but he's no longer the writer.
Thank goodness.
Yeah,
After
And they-
that
they-
fucking
and they added
weak performance.
a writer from True Detective, the show, onto Blade. So they're bringing in some quality people for this.
Heavy
I
hitters.
like to hear.
Yeah, I mean, but like
They need to
you
bring
also
in-
see one like Tiki Waititi or whatever his
Taika,
name.
yeah.
Taika Waititi. Yeah.
Tiki.
Yeah,
Super huge
Taika.
Marvel
You
fans
wanna
out here.
why, bro?
No, but like the thing is that they gave him all the creative freedom for Love and Thunder, and then he fucking ruined
Right,
it.
well-
I was just like,
Dude,
dude,
but let's be
man.
honest though, Taika's honest. He's been like, I think he let a lot of the shit that's happened go to his head. Like
Well,
I think that he's gotten a lot of fame. I mean, dude, I'm not gonna lie, he had some fucking threesome weird ass fucking relationship with Valkyrie.
what does that have to do with this fucking?
What I'm saying is, I think no.
He's just having more fun than Nick.
I'm
that's
saying,
why.
yeah, well, of course. Okay, am I jealous of Taika?
Nick just
Duh. No, but what I am saying is, I think it's one of those instances where you see all of the rest of Taika's work, and he's phenomenal. Like when he's done a lot of other projects outside of Marvel, and everything that he's had just his name on it did not have the issues that Love and Thunder had. I think we can also say that Taika probably just had some other shit going on, whether it was through his relationships or any other events. But I think that we just got to make sure that if we are going to have other directors on and stuff like that and bring them back, they just can deliver a product that is
I
similar.
hope so too.
It could be different. It could be funny the entire way, but it's got to be funny like
I mean, he had the opportunity
Like Ragnarok.
for fucking Christian Bale as a villain and ruined it somehow.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Like how's Gore an afterthought now? But anyways, that's our conversation on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. We loved it. Watch it if you haven't. Watch it again if you haven't. Like me, I've already seen it 2
I've
times.
seen it twice too.
And like George, and yeah, we're just looking forward to whatever Marvel brings us. And
Watch it. You won't regret it. But then again, guys, they are just movies. So
yeah, so just
just
have a good
enjoy
time
it.
with it. Just
Yeah.
have a good time
Just
with
have
it.
fun, man.
just
That's what
enjoy
this is about.
yourself.
Yeah. And give us a review. We're on Spotify, Apple Music, pretty much anywhere.
like, comment, and subscribe.
yeah,
Let us know what
and,
you
Wait,
feel.
can they do any comments or anything on the platforms we have?
I think on some of them.
You need to
but
reviews of the pod overall.
Yeah, if you just leave a review, add a movie recommendation that you
yeah,
want
if
us
you
to
guys
talk
could
about.
do any recommendations, we'd love to.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're
watch
also
some new
on
movies.
We're also on Twitter and Instagram under 4 Guys 1 Film. So,
Follow us there, and we'll reply back to you as soon as we can.
all right. Catch you guys next time.